That's right, last night, the triumphant return of the product herself, Angel Reese, finally made her way back to the court. Funny, a lot of questions going on out there around Angel the last month or so. Like, what in the bleep is going on? Exactly, why aren't you playing in games? We heard it was a back...
Picture this. The lights are blazing, the crowd is supposedly electric, and Chicago's marketing machine has been working overtime. Welcome back, Barbie! Splashed across every social media platform, hyping up Angel Reese's triumphant return like she was coming back from winning a championship. But when the final buzzer sounded last night, the only thing triumphant was how spectacularly this whole thing backfired. Angel Reese got absolutely owned.
Angel low in her head. Oh! Has liked her spots here and likes her
on live television, and the internet had a field day watching it all unfold in real time. After disappearing for nearly a month while her team was desperately clinging to playoff hopes, Angel Reese finally graced us with her presence again. And boy, did Chicago roll out the red carpet. They treated this return like LeBron coming back to Cleveland, with promotional campaigns that would make you think they were about to unveil the second
again. It appears you're quitting again just because your team not good. Just like rookie year, once you realize you stood no chance to win rookie of the year, you quit. You're quitting unrivaled. It looked like it was happening again. But look what we have here. Look what we have here. Angel Reese has been found.
Of basketball greatness. The arena was decorated, the social media posts were perfectly crafted, and everyone was holding their breath for this magical moment that would supposedly turn around Chicago's disastrous season. But here's the thing about reality. It has a funny way of crushing even the most elaborate marketing campaigns. By the time the dust settled, Chicago had dropped their 5th straight game, falling 94-88 to the Seattle Storm. Their record now sits at
Elizabeth Williams forces a turnover. Diana with her head up to Angel Reese.
Devastating 8-26, and their playoff dreams aren't just fading. They're completely dead and buried. The most replayed highlight of the night wasn't Angel scoring. It wasn't some incredible play that justified all the hype. No, the moment everyone was sharing was Angel getting absolutely rejected at the rim, swatted away like she was trying to dunk on prime Shaquille O'Neal. Think about that for a second. This was supposed to be her night. The spotlight was on.
So back! Bang! Hexagon, polygon, octagon, it don't matter. Turn it on for pecan, butter pecan. Bang! Rebound. Bang! Hasn't played in 3 weeks. Maybe her legs are fresh. She can jump higher. No! Bang! She's played in 24 games this year. She's been blocked 48 times. According to my advanced analytics, she's getting 2 bang bangs per game. Bang bang!
The game itself offered a harsh answer. Ezi Magbagor's block, later posted by Seattle's social team, became the frame everyone replayed. Within hours, what was supposed to be the highlight of Reese's big night turned into a viral clip mocking her arrival. Reese did what...
The marketing machine was in full swing, and the narrative was perfectly set up for a Hollywood comeback story. Instead, she became a meme. Instead of highlights showing her dominance, we got clips of her getting blocked that had basketball Twitter in absolute hysterics. The gap between expectation and reality has never been more embarrassing. Now, let's talk numbers, because Angel did put up what looks like a solid stat line on paper. 19 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Those are respectable numbers for anyone returning from injury. But here's where things get interesting, and this is where the whole Angel Reese mythology starts.
So we missed you. We missed you, Angel. You're back. You're roaring back, and I'm sure you came back and led the Chicago Sky to victory. Okay. No? Okay. It's been a while, and I'm sure you came back to a sellout crowd that could not wait to see you
crumble under scrutiny. Despite those individual numbers, Chicago still couldn't win. They still collapsed in crucial moments. They still looked like a team that fundamentally doesn't understand how to close out games or build any kind of sustainable success. This brings us to the question that's been haunting Angel Reese's entire professional career. Does she actually contribute to winning? Because if you look at the pattern, it's pretty damning. We've seen this movie before, and it always ends the same way. When things get tough, when the pressure mounts, when the team needs her most, she finds a way out.
Only 6,724 fans showed up to the Wintrust Arena. Yeah, it holds about 9,500 fans, so we're talking roughly 3,000 fans away from being sold out to see the return of Angel Reese and the defeat of the Chicago's.
Remember her rookie season? The moment she realized she wasn't going to win Rookie of the Year, suddenly there were reasons she couldn't finish the season. Then there was the unrivaled situation where she committed to play but mysteriously disappeared when it was time to actually show up for the important games. And here's a stat that perfectly encapsulates the Angel Reese experience. In just 24 games this season, she's been blocked 48 times. That's literally 2 rejections per game. When you're supposedly a dominant...
We can win! Win? Since when has Angel Reese contributed to winning? The Chicago Bravado were routinely getting their ass kicked when she was healthy. Outside of the female Suns from Connecticut who seem to be losing intentionally, the Chicago Bravado are the worst team
forward in the WNBA. Getting your shot sent into the stands twice every single night isn't exactly the mark of elite level basketball. It's the mark of someone who either hasn't figured out how to play against professional level defense, or someone who consistently makes poor decisions under pressure. But Chicago didn't just market this return. They went all out in a way that makes the whole situation even more embarrassing. They spent weeks building up this moment, crafting social media campaigns, designing graphics, and essentially treating Angel's comeback like it was going to save their franchise. The "Welcome Back Barbie" slogan was everywhere. The promotional videos were dramatic, and they positioned this single game as if it was going to flip their entire season around. Reality check. Only 6,724 fans showed up to watch this supposedly epic.
Congrats for the rookie Sonia Citron with a magical move for the Mystics. She's fierce. Citron. Citron, the back cut. Nice drop off the area. Fan get the bucket. Nice dime right there in front of the rim.
Return. The arena holds 9,500 people. Think about that. After weeks of marketing, after all the hype, after positioning this as a must-see event, they couldn't even fill 3/4 of their arena. That's not just disappointing. That's a complete failure of marketing meeting the harsh reality of fan expectations. People in Chicago have watched this team struggle all season, and they're smart enough to know that one player returning from a mysterious month-long absence isn't going to magically fix everything. The most brutal part? Within hours of the game ending, social media was flooded with clips of Angel getting blocked, not highlights of her scoring. The very moment that was supposed to announce her triumphant return instead became a viral sensation for all the wrong reasons. Seattle's social media team posted the block, basketball fans shared it endlessly, and suddenly Angel Reese was trending, but as the punchline, not the hero. This disaster didn't happen in a vacuum, though. Chicago has spent the last 2 years making decision after decision that
the only thing you're winning is the #1 pick in the draft. Ironically enough, if the Chicago Bravado get the #1 pick in the draft this year, they don't even get to keep it. It belongs to the Minnesota Lynxers. So not only are you stuck with Angel Reese, you also don't have a draft pick so you can select a player that actually knows how to win.
Prioritizes marketing over actual basketball strategy. They built their entire franchise identity around the idea that Angel Reese was going to be their savior, the player who could single-handedly transform a struggling organization into a contender. Every roster move, every press conference, every social media post reinforced this narrative that Angel was the missing piece they needed to compete. But building a franchise around marketing appeal instead of actual basketball impact has consequences. And we're seeing those consequences play out.
She had not finished any season. Her rookie year with the Sky, she tapped out. She did not finish with Unrivaled. She tapped out, didn't even show up to the playoff games. And then this season, post All-Star break, it seemed like that is all she cared about. She realized this team stinks. Tyler Marsh is a bum. Jeff P's a bum.
In real time, Chicago's front office got so caught up in the idea of what Angel could represent that they forgot to focus on what she actually produces on the basketball court. They adopted a win-now mentality that led to some absolutely puzzling roster decisions, the most glaring being their trade of the number 3 draft pick, Sonia Citron, to Washington. Let's talk about that trade for a moment, because it perfectly illustrates how backwards Chicago's thinking has become.
And I'm so happy to be back playing the game that I love. All right. So here we go, right here. This is Angel. She's going to be going down the court. Again, she's much improved from the field. She's made so much headway. Yeah. Okay. God, it's good to have Angel back. It really is. My goodness. How about right here? Angel Reese is the most blocked player in the WNBA.
They gave up a talented young player with huge potential in Citron, who is now thriving with the Washington Mystics and making a serious run at Rookie of the Year honors. Meanwhile, they brought in veteran Ariel Atkins, who is certainly a solid player, but isn't the kind of game-changing force who can mask the fundamental problems with this roster. The logic seemed to be, give Angel experienced help and chase immediate playoff success. How's that working out? Chicago is 8-26. They're not just bad, they're historically bad. They're not just missing the playoffs. They were eliminated from playoff contention before most casual fans even knew the season was winding down. Every single
It seems like once she made the All-Star game, she said, that's it. I've done what I had to do. I don't need to stick around for all this losing. She's been saying her back hurts. Nobody knows anything about the injury. Nobody knows. So we start calling it out. Hey, are you quitting again? It appears you're quitting again just because your team not good. Just like Rookie Year, once you realize you stood no chance to win Rookie of the Year, you quit. You're quitting unrivaled.
They made to support Angel's supposed superstar trajectory has blown up in their faces, and now they're stuck with a roster that doesn't fit together, a franchise player who disappears when things get difficult, and a fan base that's completely lost faith in the direction of the team. Speaking of disappearing, let's address the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about honestly. Angel Reese missed nearly a month of action right when her team needed her most, and explanations around her absence have been suspicious from day one. The official story was a back injury, but everything about how this situation was handled raises red flags. Coach Tyler Marsh himself said that if Angel wanted to explain her absence, that was her story to tell. That's not how legitimate injuries work in professional sports. When a franchise player is dealing with a serious health issue, teams are typically transparent about timelines, treatment plans, and recovery expectations. There are usually visible updates, practice footage, rehabilitation reports, or at minimum, shots of the injured player supporting their team from the bench. With Angel, we got none of that. No updates, no transparency, no visible presence with the team during their most desperate stretch of the season. She simply vanished for a month, and now she's back talking about how she learned a lot about herself during the time away. That phrasing alone should set off alarm bells. Learning about yourself isn't medical terminology. It's not the language athletes use when they're fighting through legitimate injuries and working to get back on the court as quickly as possible. It sounds like someone who stepped away from a difficult situation and tried to rebrand it as personal growth. The timing makes it even more suspicious. She disappeared right after making the All-Star team, as if that was the personal milestone she was chasing, and once she achieved it, she was done dealing with Chicago's struggles. Here's what makes this even more damaging to her credibility. When she came back, she didn't ease into action like someone recovering from a serious injury. She was on a supposed 25-minute restriction, but played 26 minutes. She shot 9 of 13 from the field and looked completely healthy and explosive. That's not how players typically look when they're returning from legitimate back injuries that kept them out for a month. That's how players look when they took a month off and are now refreshed and ready to play. The pattern is becoming impossible to ignore. This is the third major situation where Angel has found a way to step away when things got difficult. Her rookie year, She didn't finish the season once it became clear she wasn't winning Rookie of the Year. With Unrivaled, she committed to play but disappeared when it was time for the important games. Now, she vanished for a month during Chicago's playoff push and returned only when the pressure was off because the season was already lost. That's not the behavior of someone built for franchise leadership. That's the behavior of someone who crumbles under real pressure. But let's contrast this entire mess with what real franchise building and genuine star power actually looks like, because the comparison makes Angel's situation even more embarrassing. Just look at what's happening in Indiana with the Fever. Caitlin Clark has transformed that franchise in ways that go far beyond individual statistics or marketing campaigns. When Clark plays, arenas are packed. When she's on the court, her teammates play better. When Indiana faces adversity, they find ways to compete and grow stronger. The difference isn't just in the numbers, though Clark's impact there is undeniable. It's in the culture and energy she's created. Indiana games don't just fill seats, they feel electric. Commentators talk about the buzz the Fever generate, and you can see how that translates into actual basketball success. They're not just putting up hollow statistics in meaningless games. They're developing as a unit, competing every night, and building something sustainable for the future. Clark also hasn't disappeared when things got tough. She's been there for every game, every practice, every team event. When she gets knocked down, she gets back up and keeps playing. When her team faces adversity, she steps up and finds ways to help them compete. That's what real franchise players do. They make everyone around them better, and they show up when the stakes are highest. The Fever have also built their roster the right way, with balance and depth that supports their star player instead of just hoping one person can carry everything. Aaliyah Boston provides steady production in the paint. Kelsey Mitchell can take over offensively when needed. Players like Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham do the unglamorous work that winning teams require. It's a roster constructed to actually win basketball games, not just generate social media buzz. Compare that to Chicago's approach, where everything revolves around manufacturing excitement about Angel Reese without actually building a team capable of sustained success. The Fever's energy feels organic and genuine because it's based on actual on-court performance and team chemistry. Chicago's marketing feels forced and artificial because it's not supported by real results. This brings us to the fundamental question that Angel Reese's entire career hinges on. Do her individual statistics actually translate into team success? Because if you look at her professional resume so far, the answer is pretty clearly no. Chicago hasn't made the playoffs with Angel as their centerpiece. They haven't even been competitive in most games. Her gaudy rebounding numbers and decent scoring averages haven't moved the needle at all in terms of actual winning. Even more damaging, there have been stretches where Chicago has looked more balanced and competitive without her on the court. That doesn't necessarily mean she's actively hurting the team, but it definitely suggests that her impact isn't nearly as crucial as the marketing machine wants everyone to believe. When your supposed franchise player misses a month and the team doesn't fall apart any more than it already had, that tells you everything you need to know about their actual value. The harsh reality is that Angel Reese has been positioned as a franchise-changing player, but the results simply don't support that narrative. Chicago's season is effectively over. They're eliminated from playoff contention, and all the hype and marketing in the world can't change the fact that they're one of the worst teams in the league. Meanwhile, other young players like Sonia Citron, who Chicago traded away, are thriving elsewhere and showing what genuine rookie impact actually looks like. As we wrap up this disaster of a return and look at the bigger picture, one question keeps coming back. Is Angel Reese a legitimate franchise player, or is she just a marketing mirage? The evidence is pretty overwhelming at this point. Real franchise players show up when their teams need them most. They make their teammates better. They find ways to win games, even when the circumstances aren't perfect. They build cultures of accountability and excellence that extend beyond individual statistics. Angel Reese has done none of those things. She's put up individual numbers that look good in a box score, but she hasn't translated any of that into team success. She's generated social media buzz and marketing excitement, but she hasn't generated wins. Most importantly, she's established a pattern of stepping away from difficult situations instead of fighting through them. And that's the opposite of what franchise leadership looks like. The cruel irony is that her return, which was supposed to silence the doubters and prove her value, instead provided the perfect encapsulation of why the criticism has been valid all along. All the marketing hype in the world couldn't mask the reality that she got dominated on the court, her team still lost, and the fans didn't even show up to watch. That's not what franchise-changing players look like. That's what marketing mirages look like when they meet the harsh reality of professional basketball. So what do you think? Have we been watching an elaborate marketing campaign disguised as franchise building? Or is Angel Reese going to prove the doubters wrong? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more WNBA analysis that goes beyond the hype.